On the news, Nigeria's Minister of Interior orders investigation into jailbreak at Cotton Karfi Correctional Center in Kogi State as manhunt for prisoners intensifies. Federal government says Rivers emergency rule to end once normalcy is restored. Petition seeking Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's recall. And thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Ajikun. The Nigeria government has ordered investigation into the circumstances surrounding the escape of some inmates from the Cotton Karfi Correctional Facility in Kogi State on Monday. In a statement by his media aide, Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo directed the Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Sylvester Ndidi, to immediately visit the facility in Kogi to evaluate the situation and commence a comprehensive audit to unravel the events that led to the incident. The minister vowed that all fleeing inmates will be captured and returned to the facility, as the authority will leverage the correctional service robust biometric systems to facilitate their recapture. 12 inmates had reportedly escaped from the medium security custodial center following an early morning jailbreak. Confirming the report to journalists, the national spokesman of the service, Abubakar Umar, said that all the escapees are awaiting trial inmates, adding that 5 of them have been successfully recaptured, with efforts continuing to apprehend the remaining 7. Moving on, Nigeria's Minister of Information and National Orientation has said that President Bola Tinubu will lift the emergency rule in Rivers State as soon as normalcy is restored. In an interview with newsmen on Monday, the minister explained that the decision to impose emergency rule was due to the complete breakdown of governance in Rivers State, forcing the president to take a very reasonable but very painful action in accordance with constitutional provisions. He further explained that President Tinubu would move swiftly to reinstate democratic structures in the state once it is deemed stable. The minister assured that there were no hidden agendas behind the president's actions. Meanwhile, a pro-democracy group, the Coalition of Civil Society in Defense of Democracy, has urged President Bola Tinubu to establish a reconciliation committee within 14 days to resolve the crisis in Rivers State. Making the call on behalf of the group at a press conference in Abuja, the convener expressed concerns that the state of emergency would only lead to a forced peace and encourage parties to hide their true intentions. The group demands that the president set up a panel of non-partisan eminent Nigerians to mediate between the rival parties in the Rivers State crisis.
The Coalition of the Civil Society in Defense of Democracy demands immediately that the President Tinubu, within 14 days, set up a panel of non-partisan eminent Nigerians to mediate between the rival parties in the Rivers State crisis. The mediatory effort must be concluded within 60 days so that the state of emergency can be lifted within 90 days of its declaration. Anything other than that will bring about a political pandemonium or chaos or anarchy, which is not our expectation as a people. Rivers State, we all know, is one of the major states that serves the nation revenue. Finally, and most expediently, we call on political parties to rein in their members in states that have similar political wranglings ongoing, so that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not have the excuse to suspend democratic structures in more parts of the country. Where political parties fail to heed to this counsel, they can be assured that there will not be many states left under democratic rule before the 2027 general election.
Registered voters in Kogi Central Senatorial District have formally petitioned the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to recall Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan from the Nigerian Senate. The petition dated March 21, 2025 cites loss of confidence in the senator due to allegations of gross misconduct, abuse of office, evasion of due process, and a pattern of deceitful behavior. In the petition addressed to the INEC chairman and stamped as received on March 24, 2025, the petitioners assert their right under the Nigerian law to seek Akpoti-Uduaghan's removal. In a separate development, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has denied reports that she apologized to the Senate following the controversy that led to her suspension. In a statement, the senator, who said she was facing coordinated efforts to suppress her voice within the National Assembly, alleged that certain individuals are spreading false narratives to manipulate public perception, but vowed not to be intimidated. She urged the public to disregard the reports, adding that any official statement from her would come through her verified channels. Political affairs analyst Nelson Akujumi joins me on the news to discuss this development further.
Led us to a 6-month suspension where Kogi Central will not be represented at the National Assembly, the Senate arm. So we have come to recall her back so that we can have a representative in the Senate, because as a people, we cannot afford not to have a representative in the Senate arm for another 1 year. So we are here to tell INEC to please follow the constitutional process for our recall so that our recall process can begin. That's why we're here.
If you see the process the good people of Kogi Central has carried out so far, this will be the first recall that will be successful. The good people of Kogi Central have spoken in one voice. It is simple. We need credible representative. We need credible senator who can speak the mind of the good people of Kogi Central.
So far, we've initiated this process and we've submitted the duly signed petition to the chairman of INEC. My message to them is for them to speedily swing into action, and by reviewing the petition we submit and swing into action to the next phase of the process as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Following the suspension of humanitarian efforts by the United States Agency for International Development, the Borno State government has called on donors and development partners to step in and bridge the funding gap. The appeal was made in the capital Maiduguri during the conclusion of a flood intervention project implemented by the Christian Rural and Urban Development Association of Nigeria and the Center for Advocacy and Accountability Initiative in collaboration with the Borno State government. TV360's correspondent Solomon Josiah completes the report.
The project, carried out in collaboration with the state government, targeted households affected by the devastating flood of September 10, 2024, which displaced millions of residents and destroyed homes and critical infrastructures across the state. As part of the intervention, the project provided essential non-food items, including water, sanitation and hygiene materials, rehabilitated water facilities, distributed cash aid, and offered livelihood support to 3,000 beneficiaries. Speaking at the event, the coordinator of the Borno State Agency for Coordination of Sustainable Development, Partnership and Humanitarian Response highlighted the severe impact of USAID's withdrawal on various sectors, which has exacerbated the challenges faced by the affected communities.
In our health institutions and healthcare centers, many of these interventions that are being carried out have been stopped. And as of now, we are also looking for a way to replace these interventions that are being carried out by these partners that are being supported by USAID funding. So as of now, the OTP centers have been closed. Many of these OTP centers have been closed down. The primary healthcare centers have been drying up because of the withdrawal of these organizations in these facilities.
Other officials raised concern about the dire sanitation situation in affected areas. According to them, more than 5,000 people still lack access to proper toilet facilities, posing serious public health risks.
We were able to reach some of 3,000 households, although initially we targeted to reach 1,500 households, meaning that we have exceeded the target by 100%, and this was possible as a result of the additional need which we saw, and we adjusted the program to reach more participants.
this support was necessary. For example, we've provided water, we've worked on rehabilitating boreholes in places that had lost access to water because of the flood. So imagine without this rehabilitation, what would have been, they would have had access to water for a while. So this support has gone in to provide rehabilitated water for people, has provided multipurpose cash transfer to households, so they can not only for repairs of their broken homes, but also for feeding and other things. So it's open to them to do what they choose to do with it for their households.
With USAID's withdrawal leaving a significant funding gap, the Borno State government, humanitarian organizations, and local leaders continue to appeal for urgent intervention from donors and development partners. Solomon Josiah, TV360, Borno.
Let's go back to the story of the formal petition submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission demanding the recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan from the Nigerian Senate. Political affairs analyst Nelson Ekujimi joins me on the news. Thank you very much for coming on. Now, you're an expert in these issues. I mean, help us understand the process of recalling a duly elected senator in the Nigerian Senate, or from the Nigerian Senate.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Good evening. The process of recalling a senator or any other elected member of the legislature in Nigeria is a constitutional procedure. And the Constitution in Section 69 stipulates the process and procedures to be followed. And the first thing to be done is for about one and a half of the members of that constituency to sign a petition stating their name from the from the polling units to the ward to the local government that makes up the constituency of the legislature and that petition is submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. And from there, the Independent National Electoral Commission now goes ahead to verify the signatories and the names vis-a-vis where those names originated from. I said earlier on the polling unit, the ward, the local government that makes up, the constituency. And after verifying that, the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, now writes to the senator informing her of a petition seeking a recall, and within 90 days, if the INEC now goes back to carry out an audit, if they are able to get half of that members of our constituency, signifying through a referendum of yes or no, signifying that they want a recall, then the Independent National Electoral Commission will go and conduct that referendum, and the outcome of that referendum will be submitted to the President of the Senate. If more than half of the constituents now say they have lost confidence in her to represent them, then it means that the process of recalling her has been successful, and the Senate President will now declare his or her seat vacant. But if they are unable to muster that population required according to the Constitution, then the recall process will become dead.
Now, this petitioners assert their right under the Nigerian law to seek Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's removal. But then, has the senator committed enough crime for her to be recalled? I mean, are there enough grounds for her recall from the Nigerian Senate?
Well, I don't belong to a constituency, and the right to recall her lies with those who voted her in the first place. So I don't know the reason for her recall. That is a question which you pose to our constituents, because they are the ones that elected her and they have the right to recall her if they so desire. So whether she has committed any act or not, I wouldn't know, because she doesn't represent my constituency. It is members from our constituency that can validly answer that question. And I think we should oblige them that respect, that she must have done some things that was not in sync with their wishes and aspirations with their trust reposed in her to go and represent them in the Senate. And that must have been what has necessitated this recall. But whether she has done right or wrong, I don't belong to her constituency, so I don't know. I don't have a say in this. Like we say in law, I have no local standing in a matter.
Oh, we'll be monitoring events as they unfold in this matter. Political affairs analyst Nelson Ekujimi, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I was going to Borno State. A 14-year-old schoolgirl has been hospitalized at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital after suffering severe injuries from a violent assault for attempting to pluck mangoes near the Pompomari bypass. The victim, Hawa Mohammed Goni, allegedly sustained multiple bruises and serious injuries and is currently receiving medical care at the trauma center of the UMTH. Her father, Mohammed Goni, expressed deep distress over the attack, calling for justice for his daughter. In response to widespread condemnation, operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps have arrested the suspect.
The suspects were arrested by efforts of community members and the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, Borno State Command, who apprehended the suspect, and the suspect was held with them not until yesterday, where due to the inclusive partnership between the police and the civil defense, the police are advantage in ensuring that with the gender desk office that we have, seamless investigation and discreet investigation will commence.
This is a case not for the father of the girl, but it's for the state. And people like you as journalists, at least you make it to the whole world to know that justice has been done to the girl, so that they will know that in Borno State, because we have a law, Child Protection Law 2021, that is has been domesticated. And then we have the VAP Act law, where it says if you see somebody inflicting an injury on somebody, he should either go for 10 years imprisonment and pay the sum of 500,000 or both. And then anybody that sees the person committing that offense and did not report will serve 5 years imprisonment and then pay the sum of 250,000. So these are laws that have been written. So I think that we'll go by the law, and we will make sure that justice is being given to this little girl.
We'll take a short break. Still to come on news now. Buddhism's holiest site erupts in protests over Hindu control of shrine. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Here's a recap of some of our stories. The Nigerian government has ordered investigation into the circumstances surrounding the escape of some inmates from the Cotton Karfi Correctional Facility in Kogi State on Monday. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, vowed that all fleeing inmates will be captured and returned to the facility, as the authority will leverage the Correctional Service robust biometric systems to facilitate their recapture. We also informed you that Nigeria's Minister of Information and National Orientation has said that President Bola Tinubu will lift the emergency rule in Rivers State as soon as normalcy is restored. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store, on Facebook or at TV360 Online.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi360, dissecting the issues.
Let's get more news on business. Victoria Konde has the latest. Over to you, Victoria.
Thank you very much, Simi. Welcome to Business News. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting investors in Nigeria's capital market by cracking down on fraudulent activities. According to the Director General of SEC, Emomotimi Agama, operators engaging in unscrupulous practices will face strict penalties as the Commission prioritizes safeguarding investor interests. It called on existing and prospective market participants to collaborate with the SEC to foster the development of a transparent and robust capital market. Over time, fraud and corruption have had a significant effect on the market capitalization of Nigeria's capital market. Earlier, I spoke to equity trader at CSL stockbroker Richard Akimoladun on factors responsible for the increase in fraudulent activities in Nigeria's capital market.
As you've rightly asked, that lately we've seen in the news that the SEC, which is the apex regulator for the capital market in Nigeria, are coming out to actually sound the warning that it will not take it lightly with any operators that are trying to breach any of the rules guiding the market, right? I think the operators, that's one of their key roles, to protect investors in the market, right? So that, because that is very key to the integrity of the market, right? That people are coming with their hard-earned money, and they want to be sure that that money, by the time they invest in the market, right, that money is protected. That is where that's what can bring development. That's what can deepen the market, when investors are guaranteed that their investment is protected when they come to the market. So we've seen like a lot of investment vehicle like coming up in the space, in the capital market space, right? People soliciting for public funds, right? That they are not registered with SEC, right? That for you to solicit fund from the populace to actually invest in any particular security, the security must be registered, and also the operator too must be registered with SEC. And what SEC is saying, that lately we've seen some outfit coming out that are not registered, and they are soliciting funds from the investing public. That even though if your intention is right, even though if your intention, you don't have that mind to defraud the investing public, it is a must. It is mandatory that you must be registered under SEC, so that SEC can continually monitor your books.
Now, with the SEC's crackdown on unethical practices and the introduction of stricter regulations like the Fit and Proper Persons Test, how much impact will it have on market operators, and what can stockbrokers do to ensure they remain compliant with fostering trust with investors?
So the Fit and Proper test that you talk about, that has been Fit and Proper Persons Test. That has been in the rules of SEC ever since. So as a market operator, as a stockbroking firm, right? SEC comes like regularly, like at least once in a year. They visit all the stockbroking firms to look at your books, right? To know that you're doing everything right. So they look at your book, they check that you have the proper staff, that you're following the rules, right? And you are not breaching any of the SEC rules or any rules that are guiding the operation of the capital.
Right now, we'll go on a short break and be back with stock market updates. Stay with us. Welcome back. As many stocks approached attractive re-entry points, buy-side interest at the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) surged remarkably on Monday. Following a period of underperformance, investors are now focusing on stocks with strong fundamentals, particularly those with favorable corporate actions and solid earnings reports. At the close of the first trading session of the week, the Nigerian equities market rose by 0.56%, bringing the market capitalization to 66.2 trillion naira. Now, over 440 million shares were exchanged in 13,314 deals, amounting to a market value exceeding 10 billion naira. And when this is compared to the previous NGX trading day, which is Friday, March 21st, today's data reflects an 11% increase in volume, a 16% rise in turnover, and a 32% surge in the number of deals. Now, on the global front, two of our selected equities, the UK's FTSE and Japan's Nikkei, ended in bearish territory. However, their counterpart, the US Dow Jones, bucked the trend, closing on the bullish note. Now shifting to the foreign exchange market, the Naira remains volatile against major foreign currencies, currently trading at 1,570 Naira per dollar on the black market and at 2,020 Naira per pound, still on the black market, and at 1,700 Naira per euro on the black market. That's it on both business and stock market updates. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Victoria. And on the foreign scene, protests have erupted at one of Buddhism's holiest sites as thousands of Buddhist devotees took to the streets in fierce opposition to what they describe as the increasing Hindu control over the revered shrine. The site, located in a region of significant religious importance, has long been a symbol of Buddhist heritage and spiritual significance, drawing pilgrims from around the world. Protesters argue that the new management policies, which they say favor Hindu rituals and practices, threaten to dilute the shrine's Buddhist identity. On sports, as the clock ticks down to the highly anticipated Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON, Nigeria's Flying Eagles have entered the final phase of their preparations, ramping up training in the northern city of Katsina. The seven-time African champions will kick off their campaign against Egypt's young pharaohs at the 20,000 capacity Amadou Gon Coulibaly Stadium on Wednesday, April 30. Their second group match will see them face Morocco at the same venue on Saturday, May 3. The Flying Eagles will conclude their Group B fixtures against South Africa's Amachita on Tuesday, May 6. And that's it on News Now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.